Hello, and welcome to a guide to Guardian on Mythic. First off, I want to give a huge thanks for all the support on my Painsmith guide. I really didn't expect it to reach so many people, but now, on to Guardian. This fight is definitely a step down from Painsmith. It'll take a handful of pulls for people to figure out mechanics. However, once you get the basic flow of the fight, the boss just kind of falls over. Now, let's get straight into it. It doesn't necessarily matter which order you use the pylons. However, we started by tanking the boss next to the right pylon, and then throughout the fight, using the back and then the left. The primary change on Mythic is that players who are targeted with circles need to move out and use the circle to hit the next pylon. Otherwise, the boss will start casting Purging Protocol early and shorten the enrage timer. To hit the pylon with all three circles, players need to run out and form a triple Venn diagram around the pylon. It's also important to note that being within the pylon circle is not enough, and that you need your individual circle to be overlapping with the center pylon. Probably the most important thing about this mechanic is that players move immediately so they have time to readjust and correct for any miscommunication. Another tip, as you run out, typically the player leading the charge will assume they are going to the far side of the pillar, so players who plan on going far with blinks or dashes should do so immediately to show their intention to the other players. This is also a great time to use a personal so you don't get comboed from other abilities. The part where this gets a little tricky is after the set of purging casts, where everyone is in the pylon circle. Here, players have less room to position around the pylon without hitting the group. Afterwards, players stack back up and bait the beam, take a step left to dodge, and then take another step to move away from the meltdown and get in position for the next pylon. The other main part of the fight is handling the tank combo. This combo goes Sunder, Obliterate, Obliterate, Sunder, where Sunders are soloed by the tanks, and Obliterates require a minimum of 4 players in order to not proc an early Purging Protocol. To satisfy this 4-player requirement, we set up a rotation of 3 immunities plus the tank for each of the 4 sets of Obliterate soaks. To accomplish these soaks, we had the first tank tank the first Sunder in front of the boss's left foot. After the Sunder, the designated immunity players should walk in, as the Obliterate will be in the same position. The boss doesn't change targets after it starts its cast, so the second tank should taunt during the first Obliterate to ensure they're targeted with the second Obliterate. Between these Obliterates, the tanks essentially swap positions in order to land the second Obliterate on the same set of immunities. And then lastly, the immunity players should move out as to not get hit by the final Sunder. Now, a bit about raid comp and the number of purging protocols you take. For our kill, we ran 6 healers as the damage check isn't very tight and took 3 purges before each pylon. Running this many healers gave us additional cooldowns and better spot healing for people targeted by sentries. However, we ended up healing the same number of purges the following week with 5 healers. The main thing you want is enough raid cooldowns in order to not be one-shot by the 3rd cast of Purging Protocol. So this would be cooldowns like Devo, Barrier, AMZ, Rally, SLT, and Ankh Totem. If your cooldown is long enough, you want to use it right before the 2nd cast of Purging Protocol, so it lasts all the way through the 3rd. In general, we made sure to have a minimum of at least 2 of these cooldowns active for each of the 3rd Purge casts. If you do the other mechanics of the fight properly and don't activate an early Purging Protocol, they'll be spaced by at least a minute and a half, making it possible to use one set of cooldowns for pylons 1 and 3, and another set of cooldowns for pylons 2 and the final enrage. And that pretty much does it. Land all your soaks, pump hard, and kill the boss before the final set of Purging Protocols. Unfortunately, Blizzard kind of missed the tuning mark with this boss, but I suppose they can't always get it perfect. Also, on a final note, it can be tough to find out everything about a fight, and I'm bound to miss some stuff, so a big thanks to those who leave comments to help fill in the gaps. I'll try and pin some of them below. And until next time, thanks for watching.